Hey YouTube fam, welcome back. If you are new here, my name is Jessica, and today we are going to be doing a posing class. So I get asked pretty frequently how I pose, or like what are my go-to poses, or how I even know how to pose with whatever outfit I am wearing. So today we're just gonna cover some basics, some tips that I kind of just played around with, and really just things that I've figured out for myself along the way in the last, 3 years I've been doing this now. So I hope you guys find this really helpful. I know it is a scary thing to be taking photos outside, especially in the public, or even if you're at home and you don't know how to pose. These are just really great, like, foundational basics for you to use and implement. So let's get started. We are going to start off with kind of posing from thigh up. So typically if you want to frame this on your phone, it would just kind of be like that half upper body poses. So I like to fill the space in the frame. You guys will hear me say this throughout the video. I like having a little bit of movement in the frames. I think the easiest pose would just be the relaxed pose. A lot of people don't really know what to do with their hands. So my go-to is just having them chill right here. So it's a very natural pose. I'll just kind of fold my thumbs over, or I will take my index finger and thumb and kind of grab this thumb on this hand and just do this. Super simple. I like to make use of my arms. A really great way to describe this is creating triangles. A girl that I follow on TikTok, I believe her name is Christine, she said to create triangles with your shapes, which is essentially like the easiest way to put it. So the first one would be just hands on the hips. Like, this is super easy. One thing with hand on the hips is you don't want to place it like this with all hands showing. This is like very Superman, like high, like we're here. It's very masculine and there's just too much going on. So you want to flip it so that the thumbs are out and not this, but this. So kind of like we have a triangle here and it fills the space more than just, you know, like this, which is still cute. It just kind of depends on what you like. And then another one I like to do is kind of like the hair tuck. So again, there are triangles here. You can do hair tuck on one, hair tuck on the other. And if I am doing a hair tuck, I'm not gonna have my arm glued. I'm gonna stick it out a little bit. And again, you have another triangle here. So, you know, just again, filling the space a little bit. If you have a bag, this is another way to kind of utilize your hands. Hold on to the strap. Hold it, you can hold it up from here as if like you're trying to fix it. Again, creating a triangle, or you can hold it onto here, but kind of keep your elbow out a little bit, creating a triangle. Or if you don't want to do that and you just want to stand straight, lean, and then kind of stick your hand out a little bit, creating a triangle right here. When it comes to side profile photos, you usually may want to have your bag on the side where the camera is showing. Unless it's a really big bag and it overpowers the outfit, then you will want to throw it on the shoulder that isn't closest to the camera. But if it's a smaller bag, I typically like to show it towards the camera. You can cross your arms, you can do like a hair tuck, open your body up a little bit. You don't want to do this because then you will cover, unless that is actually something you want to do. You can play with your hair. I always like to pretend I'm tucking my hair behind my ears, but at least if you're doing this, you're again creating a triangle. You can hold your hair up, kind of do like, oh, I'm just fake holding my pony. Or sometimes I like to even fix my shoulder bag like this, and then just, you know, play around with the poses a little bit. Another one could be crossing your arms, kind of doing this little guy. You can play with your hair. You can place your hand on your chin, or kind of like do this. You never want to be too rigid or like too serious with your hand placements. Like, you don't want to be like, you know what I mean? Just very casual, very soft. Just simple little movements. It's a lot easier than you think it is. I think once you start practicing and you kind of know what angles you like the most on camera, it's like 1, 2, 3, like you're not even gonna be thinking about it. But like I said, you're definitely going to want to be practicing these in the mirror before you go out. That way, when you get onto location, it's just like boom, 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 you know what you're doing. You get it done quickly versus freezing up and like forgetting what you like. Now that we have kind of mastered the thigh and above, let's move on to a full body. You never wanna just stand like this. This is frumpy. It doesn't do anything for the photo. You're always going to, one, instead of, you know, thrusting and standing like this, you're going to want to push back your butt a little bit. Don't like overextend it. We're not trying to like fake a booty or anything, but just stand straight, roll your shoulders back so that you have a good posture. So we're already starting from here to here. And then for leg placement, if you are shorter like me, this will be great for you. If you are taller, I mean, this is still great because everyone wants to look taller. So what you're gonna do first with your foot placement is you're gonna take either foot, but I like to stick my left foot out. So I'll stick it out in front of me, not too far, but just a little bit, and then bring it out to kind of where your shoulder is. Now, after, you're gonna wanna shift your weight to this hip. So here we are. Now we're here, but shoulders back, standing up straight still. And then you don't want to point your toe like you're a ballerina, but you still want your heel to be above or off the floor, maybe 1.5 inches or so. So instead of standing flat-footed like this, just doing this already makes you look slimmer, and it doesn't give you that jean crease as much here, if that makes sense. So now let's combine the hands with the legs. The first one will just kind of be our relaxed hand, or you can do one arm to the side and then one on the hip. You don't want your arm like out in front. I actually like to kind of tuck it a little bit behind the hip. I feel like this is just a little bit flattering. Or if you're holding a purse, it'll be on this side. You can hold the strap here like this. You can hold the bag down in front of you, but again, well, I actually have to constantly remind myself, stand up straight. You can hold it back to the side and do this. You can kind of hold it up top a little bit higher. And this is kind of, I'll hold it like around my bust area. What I like to do as well, if I don't really know what to do, or if I'm running out of ideas, I'll just pretend I'm like adjusting my purse, something that's just very casual and something that you would just already normally do. Or last but not least, I will kind of take my hand where the bottom of the strap is, like wrap my thumb around it. That way the purse isn't like swinging or coming off. And then I'll just sit my hand here and do the face thing, whatever you want. So that's my kind of go-to standing pose. Now, if you want to do like the back side of it, this is going to be a little bit harder to talk because I'm going to be facing this way, but let's try this anyways. So again, standing up straight, shift your weight to the side. You can just, again, with the relaxed hands, you can do it. Twist your body a little bit so that you can see some of your side profile. I love a picture where there's little peeps of the side profile. When I was getting my hair done, the stylist said when she likes to shoot hair, the best photos that always work for her are something focused in the back but a slight tilt so that you can see a little bit of eyelash. I don't know what that is, but she said it just gives the photo that much more. So back, and then kind of just turn to the side. You can stick your shoulder up, you can bring it down. If you want, you can do a body twist and kind of like look at the camera like this. One thing you do have to remember though is that when you're standing behind like this, don't like do that, because look how far the legs are. It looks a little weird. So just stand shoulder width apart, shift, and then turn. That would look the most casual and like the least bit of force, if that makes sense. Now, another one that I love to do are walking poses. So this one kind of took me a while to master, just because I feel like if you think too much, it really shows. So if I'm walking this direction, you want your back leg to come out first, because that way you see more of the outfit versus doing this. Do you understand what I'm saying? You open up the body language a lot more. So you pick a direction, and you can either look straight, or you can look in the center, or you can look kind of down. Don't ever look straight down. You're always gonna want to look at least 2 feet in front of where your first foot is. So you're gonna walk, and then you can swing your arms. If you have a purse, you can swing the purse. Now, don't get too crazy and be swinging like this, okay? When it comes to moving and walking photos, you want it to be very subtle. Sometimes, like when I'm walking, I don't even realize my bag is swinging so much because this feels normal, but you can already tell in the video, my bag's going everywhere. So you're gonna want to walk, and then just, I usually like to do this. I don't like to physically walk too much because I either walk out of the shot, or it's hard to like keep the phone or camera steady. So I usually just do this, and that's about it. Another really important thing to note is that when you are doing the walking, as you go back, you have, or I at least have, a tendency to kind of lean back and then do this. So make sure that your body is always kind of being pushed forward, not too forward, but you want to remain forward so that it always looks like you're capturing photos walking forward, instead of someone shooting you and then half the photos you're like this, and so really your only option between all the shots are the ones where you're stepping forward, versus this, you're still stepping forward, so now you have a lot more to choose from. Now for hand placement, like I said, you can hold your purse, this is kind of slipping off. You can hold your purse, you can stick your hands in your pockets, again, just something super casual. What else do I usually do? I can play with my hair, just kind of create some movement. And then my favorite shots when I'm walking is looking down, and then I'm stepping forward because my leg muscles will show. And then when my hand is slightly out, not too far out, if it's too far in the back, it looks very flat like this. So just having this hand out helps a lot. And again, don't swing it out too far because that just looks a little aggressive, you know, too much. So we're just gonna do this. It does take practice, guys, trust me. And even now, sometimes when I'm doing the strides, I look at the first, I don't know, maybe 40 photos, and I'm like, oh, this looks horrible. So try it at home, practice it at home, and then just kind of remember those little tips. But as you see yourself in the photos, when you first take your first view, you're gonna know what you need to keep in mind. So I'll do like the first 10 are just kind of testing out the pose, see what is working, and then go from there. The last thing to take note of the walking stance is don't take large strides. Sometimes I'm in heels and I'm just like you trying to work it, and in my mind I'm like, yes, like power walk. But then in the photo I look like this. So never just small steps, like a normal step. But I know sometimes, you know, like when we're in heels, we're just like, yes, stride, you know? We're not doing that here. It's not gonna look good in the picture. So again, just regular step, hand out, whatever you wanna do with your hands, this, and there you go. You've mastered the walking. Another pose that kind of has been trendier for the last year is kind of doing the leg pop or the foot pop. Some things to note for that. You don't want to bring your knee up. It's more kind of like a semi-lift, but more of like a shoe pop. If you guys remember in Princess Diaries when she gets her kiss from, I forgot what's his name, she's like, a foot popping kiss. So it's kind of like what you want to do. You want to do a foot popping kiss, or the foot popping without the kiss. You just want to do the foot pop. You don't want to go aggressive and be like, hi, we're doing high knees, and you know what I mean. That's just like, it's a little too much. So something like this, You want to give your hands a little bit of a movement. So I like to kind of swing them, lean back a little bit, just like, cute, you know, like, haha, whatever. Do a little silly face, but this is definitely more of a cute, fun pose. So you're gonna want to be a little bit more playful with it in terms of your facial expressions and whatnot. So I feel so silly doing this for you guys. Okay, so that's another. And I'm trying to think what else there is. Maybe if you guys want to do just a straight on pose and not really do like this, another one that a lot of us do is if we are wearing baggier jeans, we like to stand straight, but then kind of like force your legs out so you have a little bit more room. And that way it helps you visualize and see the denim a little bit better versus again, just like this, like holding it like this isn't cute, but a little bit apart, move your, like kind of force them out and then hold on to the pants. And then we like to look to the side, look to the floor, shift your body weight a little bit, look straight on, but never just do this. You kind of always want to do a little bit of a lean to make it less serious and more just like, hey, I'm just posing, you know. So, yeah. Now, I think we can move on to sitting poses. It was getting kind of toasty, so I had to change into a t-shirt. Okay, so let's do sitting poses. Jeans aren't kind of the best option for this, but let's do it anyways. So when you're sitting, the objective is to kind of like fill the space. This is not cute. Like this is just kind of boring because it's very, you know, minimal and just solid and boring. So different ways that you can sit are first, you can do, can you guys see this? Oh, okay, that's better. First step is your hand placement. So I like to kind of lean on my hand. You never want to be too far out. You want to be too close because then it just looks awkward. So something that's just very comfortable and something that you would just, how you would like normally hold yourself up. Next, we have the legs. You got a couple of options here. The first is, I guess, just kind of like this little elegant situation you got. So you never want to do this because this is, again, not cute. We're trying to fill the frame here. So you want to bring that out. And then for your feet, you want to make sure that they're pointed out. You don't want to do this because it looks weird, it looks flexed, whatever. You want to continuously create the illusion that you are longer. So we're going to stick this foot out a little bit further and then have your toes and foot pointed in that same direction. For this leg, you don't want to tuck it in too much because there's awkward space here. You don't want this out too much because that just looks weird. So just tuck it a little bit behind where your ankle is. This should be fine. And then you could lay it down. I like to create a little bit of space just so there's, I don't know, more pockets. And then with this hand, you can do honestly whatever you want. You can play with your hair. You can just casually lay it on your knee. Don't stick it straight because it looks very rigid. You're just gonna want to, you know, just lay it down here. You can do this, you can do this, whatever you want. The next one is if you're doing like a straight mirror selfie and you want to cover your face. I like to do this a lot or this a lot. Or if I am leaning against my bed, I'll kind of lean back, use this wherever the bed frame is, and then take a photo like this. So 1 foot out, whoops, 1 foot out. You don't want it to be too far out because that looks funky. So 1 foot out, this goes behind. Again, not too far in, not too far out, pretty much where it's parallel to, you know, the lines of your frame. You can just snap a photo here like this. You can bring your arms out here, snap a photo. You can have it just this or like this. Again, super, super casual. Now we can get into the squatting. So I call this the Asian squat because I'm Asian and it's obviously just a joke. but we have a couple of options for squatting as well. I'm gonna raise the camera really quick. Okay, so for squatting options, you can do something like this, but sometimes like the crotch look is a little bit too much for me, so I like to put my hands here or have one hand here and have this relax on this foot. So, you know, like so. Or you can do, this is kind of hard in jeans. You can do this one, which a lot of girls do. So it's more of a side view. It kind of depends on like how far or how much of the body you want. So if you're doing more of a side angle, you're gonna want to stick your foot out again a little bit further. Shift your weight back. This one is a little bit harder and your foot and your leg will hurt a little bit, but it's worth it. So you can do this, lean back, you can play with your hair, do like a pony, look to the side. This one is definitely more posed and not so casual. So it kind of just depends on like your style. Those are my two go-to squat poses. You don't want to do this, looks like a frog. And then the last one is kind of just like photos on your knees. So let's scoot back a little bit so you guys can see. One option for this is legs not super far apart, but shoulder length. Everything is typically shoulder length if you're going straight on. And then have your phone here. You can lean a little bit, put your hand here, put it here. Just do things that feel very natural to you. Or if you want to kind of do like a Captain Hook pirate situation, you can, I like to kind of pull on my pants for this one, so it's not so like focused on kind of this situation. It's a lot more casual. Shift and then look away. You can do that. Another one for on the knees is going this way and then just kind of holding onto your belt loops and looking out or just down. Just make it very casual. Because you already are on the floor, I feel like you don't want to do too much extravagant stuff, because then again, it doesn't look as natural and you just don't want to look like you're trying too hard. All right, so now that we've kind of covered the basics, now if you are a more experienced shooter, when it comes to thinking of new poses, a huge resource that I use is Pinterest. In addition to using Pinterest for outfit inspo, I also like to see kind of like how the girls are posing, how they're walking. When it comes to shooting an outfit, every outfit is different. I could use so many different examples, but however which way you decide to pose, you just really want to make sure that it's going to showcase the outfit, especially if you're wearing different layers. Then you want to make sure that everyone can kind of see everything that's going on. So if you are wearing an outerwear, you know, kind of open up the flaps a little bit and do this so that whatever you're wearing under can be shown. Just small things like that to kind of keep in mind. My next tip for kind of different poses is do them at home. Like literally practice in front of the mirror. Even these basic poses, you definitely want to practice in front of the mirror. But when it comes to certain outfits, if I want to highlight certain things, I'll figure out a pose that showcases or highlights the item, and then I will actually take a mirror selfie of me posing in that specific way, so that when I get to the location, I look at my pictures of like, okay, this is the outfit I want to shoot and I want to shoot this pose. So I just go straight to doing that there versus like sitting there doing different poses, trying to figure out like what makes the outfit look the best. For me, sufficiency and efficiency is like super key. I've just always been that way. I don't like to waste time. For me, time is like super precious. So I'm just trying to get these outfits done and shot and out of the way, because I want to come home, take off all my makeup and just chill on the couch and do nothing. So that's another really big tip for me. The last tip for photos of just utilizing the frame in general is you want to make sure that your body takes up about 2/3 of the frame. Now, do keep in mind that when you take a photo on your iPhone, when you go to post it on Instagram, obviously like it crops it, you know, and it becomes a lot closer. So another thing that I have kind of learned is that I'll do a test photo of, you know, 2/3 of the frame, And then if I do like it, I will go into my camera roll and I'll kind of crop it to what Instagram's dimensions are, just to see what it would look like on Instagram. If it's a little bit too close, I know that I'm still gonna do that same pose. I'm just gonna take literally one step back, maybe like, I don't know, a foot, and then take and continue shooting from there. That way I know that when I go to crop everything, it's the perfect crop, instead of it like cropping super close and then things get cut off if I want them in the photo and whatnot. Don't be afraid to shoot in public. I always tell my friends, you are literally never ever going to see these people again. I have been doing this for so many years, and I would say I can only remember maybe a handful of times that people were kind of just looking at me like, what is she doing? And it's not even anything mean. I don't think I've ever had anyone laugh at me. Maybe like one person. Actually, I did have one person laugh at me, and he was actually really rude about it too. But still, like, I loved how the photos turned out, so it didn't even matter. Most of the time, if people are watching, they literally, they're just curious because they don't really know what's going on. It's kind of like if you're driving down the street and you see like a movie currently being filmed, you know, you're not looking to like make fun of them or anything. You're just curious, and so you're just watching. You're just nosy. People are nosy, so don't ever think too much into it. The situation is just never as bad as you assume it to be. We always are so much harder on ourselves. So just definitely keep that in mind. At the end of the day, bomb content is like way cooler than remembering this random person like giving you a weird look. And half the time, they don't even have like the confidence or the balls to go shoot out in public anyways. So just remember, you are a boss, biatch. You got this. And I really just tune people out. Like, it's weird, everything just goes blur around me, and I'm just so focused on like getting it done that I almost forget that I'm even shooting out in public, if that makes sense. Or if people are making fun of you or recording you or whatever, you could just like turn to them and look and be like, hi, and they get super awkward or weird, and then they just kind of like leave. So, you know, just like flip the situation on them. You know, they're trying to make you uncomfortable, where it's like you can make them uncomfortable, but in a very nice and gracious way. I've done that before as well, where someone was like recording me, and I literally just stopped, looked straight at them and was like, hi. And then I like posed for their camera too, and I did a little kissy face, and they just laughed, and then they left. And they're like not even gonna do anything, and it's way funnier of a video if they do choose to post it to their Snapchat or whatever, that someone was like playing along with them and didn't get embarrassed or angry, versus like, oh shoot, okay, and then you get all rattled. You know, you gotta make the most out of the situation. Again, who freaking cares? You know, I presume that if you are trying to learn to pose or whatever, you do kind of want to move towards the direction of influencing, and at that point you have to have thick skin. You know, you're putting your life out there on the internet for people to make comments or whatever, so that's all just kind of part of the job. So yeah, so I think that's it. I can't really think of anything off of the top of my head right now to add. But if you guys have any additional questions, feel free to comment them below and I will totally answer them. But I really hope that this helps you guys. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram, and we will see you guys next time.